A very warm welcome to my community. I'm Sherwood McCaskey. As always, I'm pleased that you have joined us. This week, once again, we are in a number of communities in the northern parish of St. Peter. Religion has played a major role in shaping the Barbadian of yesteryear. Today, the physical evidence of that continues to be the number of churches that dot the landscape of these communities. In this, the second part of Haynesley Benn's presentation of his communities, he lists the many churches that were to be found in this small area, mile and a quarter, Ben Hill, Ashton Hall, Spikestown, and he presents the story that led to the formation of one of those churches.
In Ben Hill, Roadsill area, we had a number of churches. We had the Bethany Baptist Church, which was the Christian Mission, right there by the corner of Malacorda. We are obliquely across from we said the bread shop, but this was kind of a small shop. I go to that church now. And there is we had a church, we used to call it Yabit, but they used to worship down by Bob Neal house. Then there was the Church of God. Now it was in Malacorda. It moved from, it's now a big building on the left-hand side going down. But it used to be a small church, about 50 yards north of where it is now. And then we had the Fix Albert Church, but it was commonly known as the Breakaway. As a matter of fact, if you tell them somebody about the Prince Albert Church, you talking about, you mean the Breakaway? How we got this name? My mother was one of the persons in that church. She used to go to the Bethany Christian Mission Church and pastor and Fix Albert Waterman was a member there. I think he was a deacon. And there was a story told that there was a pastor called Pastor Ramsey. And Pastor Ramsey went to a function at the All Saints Church, sorry. And he came to church late. Well, not too late, but he came to church. The church was ongoing. And he had his case with him, but it dropped. And a lot of things came out of it, including people recognize he was a member of the order. And the congregation said, "Malway, what is this here? I have that in good order. I am actually editing a book. I'm the proofreader of a book that my friend, Pastor Waterman's son, has written. And that was in 1938, I think it was. And a group of people that didn't understand, and didn't like the idea of their past to being a member of the fraternity, they broke away and went and formed their own thing. And they formed their own church. They built that new church, and that church is now on the right-hand side going out, or the left-hand side coming up. You know where the Breakaway Church is. Anybody in Malacorda knows where the church is. That church was built and was opened in December of 1948. And believe you me, I was the first baby that was christened in that church. I was born in January 1949. The church was finished in 1948, and I was christened on the 20th of February 1949. I was the first baby because my mother was a member. My mother and Owen Arthur's mother and Sister Warden, and Baby Lot and Baby Lou, and all those people who have no gone on, and they were part of the Breakaway. So that's how the church got its name, the Breakaway. It's still there, still going strong. And Pastor Waterman's daughter became pastor of the church, and Mina passed away. I know Mina's daughter is now the pastor of that church. So it came now from Fitz Albert Waterman to his daughter Mina, to his other daughter, I can't remember her name, right? And then there's another church, and there are about 3 churches in Ashton Hall across what we call the zone out in Corbin's Road. There's a church in Corbin's Road, and if you come off the road at Whitehall and come down through that rough road, that road that has never been repaired since Adam came alive, that church, there's a church in there as well. Yeah. If you go down to Spikestown has about 10 or 12 churches. that can be covered with a blanket from the top of Farm Road Church, United Baptist Church. And you go down a little further and going down, don't go across around the town yet. Because around the town is the Christian Mission Church. You go down, you get to the Salvation Army Church. And just across from the Salvation Army is the Wesleyan Holiness Church. And right at the corner was the church that Pastor Lenroy used to manage, but Lenroy now worships in the community center up top the then you go across the road and you get there were 3 churches out there, including the Jehovah's Witness. You turn left, and there it was the Nazarene Church, Church of God, Adventist. And all had the full congregation. You know, it's amazing, yeah, you know. So we can call ourselves a very religious. And I forget the Adventists coming on Manacor as well. There was an Adventist church coming on there. Oh, we're not talking about the Anglican, the All Saints. The St. Peter Anglican. Yeah, man. So you see, we're always a religious people.
Speaking of religious people, Haynesley Benn considers the itinerant or wayside preachers who took seriously their chosen vocation.
I had those people who used to put on the long dress, red band, and I can call the names of people that I use, Miss Ruby Hines and her sister Miss Smith. And then you had a Bevel lady, not Victorine. Victorine was special and different. Victorine was a wonderful Christian girl. In fact, all of her children have Bible names. Daniel, Levi, Enoch. You know, a fellow called Jack Bevel. His name is St. Jabeth Mordecai Bevel. Christian names. Luke. And those people will walk around and preach the gospel, spread the gospel. And put fear in your heart, man. You. And when you hear Pastor Luke from up there, St. Thomas come down and Pastor Knight from town come down and service. Some other boy, you go and get saved every night. They have service, you know how you feel. That's something that you do during the day, you sin. And he had a fellow across road, his name, Brother, we used to call it Brother Rice. He was a ward, Brother Ward. His children are still very much involved. He has 2 sons that are pastors, Ward. I'm ready for that first name now, but one of his sons, he goes to our church as well. But those were the days, man, when those people would preach. And they had no, you know they're pastors now, really. I want to know what the pastors do, but the pastors now, they are not the pastors of yesterday. You know that song, give me that old time religion? You know, somebody yearn for that old time religion. Those fellows used to preach from their heart. Now, that fellow will say, I preached a sermon today that I prepared 6 weeks ago, you know, or a fellow will go and take up my iPad and bring down a sermon that he sees somewhere. I used to call that microwave preaching, you know, but the old preachers used to sing, preaching in those good old days. There's a song that says, preaching in the good old days was filled with holy flame, preaching for the good of man and not for worldly fame. Under such old-fashioned preaching, sinners knelt to pray, and they pray that God will save you in the good old-fashioned way. He didn't even have to wait till the pastor or the preacher move on an invitational song to invite you to come up to the altar to be prayed for. The sermon was so impactful that the fellows will move somebody outside, because when you have revival services in those churches, my brother, whichever church in Manacor, Church of God, our church, whenever there's a revival service, even if you went to St. Lucie or Spikestown, because our Pentecost church had sister churches, Head of the Town, French Village, Connell Town, in those places. And people outside 5 and 6, outside church full, because they had 4 or 5 churches would come down at night to join with the home church and have revival services. And people would go and get saved. Nowadays, you fella preach a sermon, which is long, because some preachers feel that you can't get through the sermon unless you preach an hour. And at any service, in order to get people to come to the altar, you got to ask, anyone that need prayer, put your hand up. I see that hand. Yes, I see that hand. Okay, those that put up the hand, come now. How got to come from? You got to come. Your sermon got to touch with the heart of a fellow who has sinned or who is not right with God. And then you had songs like after the sermon, you would have a song like "Is Thy Heart Right with God?" Lord, I'm coming home. All that kind of thing, and even a fellow, that song will even touch a fella's conscience. Is thy heart right with God? Wash in the crimson floor, cleansed and made holy, humble and lowly. Is thy heart right with God? And you will make your way to the altar. Now, the fellow tell you, put out your hand if you need prayer, and if you put out your hand, you say, all right, I see that hand. Okay, those that put up the hands, come now. I said, so those are the days. So yes, that was growing up really in St. Peter. As boys, as I said, we had to go to school. And I went to school barefooted, at all sense, like as many other boys. But then I passed the Cordian Prize School in 1959. I was the first of my mother's children to go to secondary school. My father and mother raised 10 children, 6 boys and 4 girls. But we were not well off. And in those days, you got to pay anything. My father and mother can afford. I got a sister named Linda, she's deceased, and my brother Jasper, and Kimore and Velma. Those were the ones ahead of me. I was the 5th. But I was the first to go to the secondary school because at that time then we probably could afford, but then we were paying school fees. I went to Cordian Prize School and left there in 1967. I went then straight into teaching. But all the boys used to be going up to All Saints, and then some fellows would pass for Cordian Prize. Most of the fellows would pass for Cordian Prize because there was no St. Lucie Secondary School as yet, right? But I remember some of the boys as well. That as much as I remember the teachers, I remember some of the boys that I sat with at school. We produced some good sportsmen as well. We had good athletes there. We had some academics. I tell you, we had some bright fellas. And there, a fellow called St. Hubert Dorich. We had the Jilts boys. There's a fellow that plays, they call it draft, Carson. Those fellows play. We had Owen Arthur. He was one of the bright fellows that we produced.
And we all know the story. Owen Arthur went on to become the Member of Parliament for St. Peter in November 1984. And on the morning of Wednesday, September the 7th, 1994, he took the oath of office as Prime Minister of Barbados, a position which he held until 2008. He passed away July 27th, 2020. Now, onto one of those organizations that gives young people access to many opportunities, providing a wide range of activities and courses across agriculture, healthy living, and civic engagement, thereby helping them to become more confident, resilient, and independent. This community benefited from the services and programs of a 4-H club.
In those days as well, we had a 4-H club at All Saints 4-H club. That club was started by a lady called Halma Phillip. She was the first leader, and I was the first president. And we had good boys and girls, and we used to meet at first we started to meet on Friday evenings in the school, and then we would meet on Saturday, which was more convenient. that 4-H club, you know, we look forward to that, to going up to that 4-H club every Saturday evening. We had as many as 82 members in that club. And all of them are very proud to have been a part of the 4-H movement in Barbados. In those days, the Ministry of Agriculture, 4-H fell under the ministry, and the extension officers, Hammy Blackman, Corbin, and all those guys will look after the 4-H clubs, and they will attend meetings and will show us things to do. We learned to cook better, but we had a stove in addition to that stove, we were able to have a plot of land down Jerusalem Agriculture Station, and we planted all sorts of crops down there. In those days, there was no pre-day larceny. And the people in the area would come and work in the garden. I myself had a garden in the back of my house. I never had any paling, any fencing. But I would go out, and the parents would come, the parents of the 4-H children would come in the garden and help us work. We used to go down as a team, as a group to the garden every last Saturday in the month. But during the other days, myself and Joseph Harvey, deceased now as well, and a few others would go down in the garden, and we would plant, and we would do a number of things. And we would sell our stuff, or if we plant a lot of carrots. The Saturday we go down there, we would harvest carrots and walk down on the housing area with a pancart or 2 pancarts full of carrots. And the neighbors would come out and take out what they wanted out in the barn. We never sold. That was the day for giving out. We picked beans. I remember my uncle Dick Benn gave me 2 pounds of echalot. You know what echalot? The dry season, the dry echalot. And I planted it, but never, and always let it multiply till I had about 43 pounds out of that 2 pounds. You know, and nice bulbs, good big bulbs. So we had some exciting times. We kept livestock as boys. I was given a pig from the Costa Edwards. And the thing about it was to have that pig bred. And once you have that pig bred, you will give out the females to 4-H members, who too will grow up and breed the males, what I call the barra, the male pigs, will grow up and get slaughtered. But the females, we kept them for further breeding. And that's how we expanded that. We kept sheep. In those days, the emphasis was not so much on the black belly sheep. We didn't even know. I had a ram, a nice big black belly ram. I didn't even know it was a black belly ram. We kept pigs, and as boys, you wouldn't probably broadcast this too much, but when the pig is in heat and is ready for the boar, we would call the guy, they had a fellow in the district called Dickie Sam. Dickie Sam had a donkey cart, and we would load the donkey cart onto the pig onto the donkey cart and take it down to the Jerusalem Agriculture Station, and the fellas would follow the donkey. Most of the young fellas would follow the donkey cart, because we used to get a lot of excitement watching the boar having fun with the sow. You know, some if the old man says, "Where you going? Home." No, he never. You know, something when if you dodge and you get in the road, because the fellas know you get in the road to watch sow being served. But that was excitement for the boys as well. I mentioned the 4-H movement, and I couldn't single out nobody, but everybody that went to that 4-H club was proud of it. I remember people like Patsy Scannabry, she's now Diana Reefer. She could do a good cake. Harriet, my wife. There was a competition every Easter holiday. The 4-H fraternity will congregate for 4-H Achievement Day. In 1971-72, we won the championship. That was held at there was an agricultural station there. You know, oh boy, that's down in the, not in the Pine. That's down in that. I'm trying to remember the area now. Near down past another school. There was an agricultural station down there. I can't remember the area by heart. But then we had championships at Queen's College. Our championship would be held at St. James Secondary. Remember that in 1975. I remember the 1973 championship we held that in St. George and Queen's College. Then the other year, the 76, the 4H championship will be held at the St. James Secondary School. And the clubs had to prepare themselves all year. We knew the competition that were going to come up. We had cattle judging and poultry judging and vegetable judging. And the poultry judging situation, you will find that the boys that would do the cattle judging, we had a gentleman called Lester Moore. He used to work at Roberts Manufacturing, and he had some animals across Blowers. I would drop the boys over there on Saturday mornings to go through the paces and cattle judging, or we would take them to the Pine Livestock Station, where the Pine Livestock Station is where the competition used to be held. And the fellas, you had to know what to look for. Those are the days where you knew all the characteristics of a cow and my name. You had to know how to answer the question. When you're judging the black belly sheep, you had to know what to look for. You're judging vegetables. You're judging poultry. The girls had to cook, make cake for that day. And we used to grow plants. So we were, we know the competition is coming off in April. So as early as March, mid-March, we will have some seedlings, or even before, so that on Achievement Day, we have nice cabbage head, nice cauliflower heads, and all kind of stuff. So we knew we were very much involved in that. So and the forest produced a lot of good people. I remember we even had a 4H cricket team, playing in the Barbados Youth Council competition. You know, they don't see those things now. We had the Barbados Youth Council, we had fellas like Halbert Blackett, and a fellow called St. John, and Keith Yearwood. And we used to have a competition. We used to travel from Malin Quarter up to Lowthers to play cricket. I played cricket against Wayne Daniel at Princess Margaret. Yeah. We played cricket in Shuri. I mean, we played cricket against the Bell Plain 4H Club at Allen School Ground. You know, all of that was the building up the community, playing games against each other, being in competition. And that 4H achievement there, man, the competition used to be good. The rivalry was great.
The importance of community involvement in developmental activities. Similar stories have been shared of 4H clubs in other parishes all across this island. Now here's a special call for someone to conduct research on the movement and its overall contribution to Barbados. Let us learn more of his childhood days in the community and what community members did for entertainment.
As the boys growing up, talking about excitement, when the moonlight is on, man, we play so many games, you know, especially living in the area, boys and girls, and you play Hidi Madidi. You fellas know what Hidi Madidi? You play Hidi Madidi. Hidi Madidi, my master go ring, come to the shop and back again. Who find my spikes tongue ring? Come Jack, for your master go ring. Shut up, your lap, tight. And everybody got the lap shut up, and Jack, who the fella had to know who got this ring, because you got a ball or a ring or something, and when you sing this song, you pass it around. I mean, just shut up, your lap tight. Everybody lap tight, and he got to determine who got who got the thing hiding, you know. And those were such wonderful days. You know, at night, and you on the step, the moon shining, and you tell good stories, you know. A lot of stories about Ossie Moore and all those stories, good, clean, healthy stories they tell. You know, so there were a lot of things that will capture our attention. during the times. In those days, you had girlfriends and things to hide out with. Because if you like a girl, you had to. Most of the girls were going to church and things, of course. And if you go to church and the pastor know that she liking a boy, she might get rebuked. You know, or if your mother know that you're talking to a boy, the girl will get some lashes. Yeah, in those days, right? But we were very decent. But when you go now a little later on in life and you turn up, you go sit down on the step to talk to the girl. She would come up on the step and talk to you too. But the old man was sitting at the window. Yeah. And he would be there. When sometimes they had a thing called Dateline International on Rediffusion. And that was at 9 o'clock. Had a particular boop, 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 boop sound. And that was time. The old man determined that was time for her to go in. So if she didn't move at the time, you heard the old man. And that was the signal. And the fellowship move. that was the signal, yeah. So those were the nice courting days. And even as young men growing up, you look at a girl from maybe up in Diamond Corner, and you had the Salvation Army used to come down from Diamond Corner every Saturday night and keep service in front of Murphy's shop. So you get a chance to walk from there down to Ashton Hall with the girl and walk back up before the Salvation Army finish, you know. As well as boys growing up, in the early days, we didn't have any television like we have now. If you go in the house, you got two inside there. We had none. But we used to go down by Raffet shop and Kenrick Small shop. The important thing about Kenrick Small TV though, that Kenrick Small had the TV inside the shop, outside the glass, inside the glass. But we would congregate outside the glass. And you can hear a word that going on inside there now. But at Raffet TV, you come down by the TV, and Raffet was a very nice gentleman. You know, Carlisle Raffet. And he would allow us to come and open, he would open the window above, and we would think about no bad behavior. If there's any scuffling at all, Raffet, he would tell you, okay, they had enough of that. Also, Oliver had a TV, Oliver Sobers. He used to watch TV, Oliver Sobers. And I remember some of those TV shows. I remember there was one called Richard Boone, Have Gun Will Travel. And I remember one Saturday evening, there was a young girl, I remember her name too, but I'm not going to call it. She will come up to the, Richard Boone will come up to the screen, and the introduction of the screen. Have Gun Will Travel, and he will draw, and man, the girl squeal out. He came to the screen, she got up, she squealed up and got up and ran. Then we used to go down by the corner shop. Well, on Sunday night, you go down to church. My mother would do a head count. And we would sneak out. I would sneak out of church and go down to corner shop to watch Bonanza. That was the favorite show. And but I had to get back up to church and hope that Bonanza done before church finished. When Bonanza done, you run up the corner. It's about 100 yards from the corner shop to our church. And if church is still going on, you're good. You just sneak back in. But if church is finished, you're in trouble. Come in, mother, do another head count. With Haynesley, you in there, you got some lashes when you get home. Real lashes when you get home. But again, that added to the excitement of growing up. You know, you didn't have the luxuries that you had in those days. The thing about it though is that all of us were our brother's keeper. When you see it now, the yams and the potatoes and the edibles and everything are being dug, it was sheer. You will find out fellas would buy yam by the rod. And yam, if the cut ones, my mother and father would buy yam too, but some people would run the pass down the road, they would give you the cut ones, the cut yams. And we used to go to a cellar full of yams. And the yams will be there from January, February, March, April. But when you see the 1st of May come, you see the yams start to spiral. Time for planting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benn. As we end this episode, we call attention to a statement made by Haynesley Benn a few moments ago. He said, "All of us were our brother's keepers." Now, this reminds me of the original purpose of this series. The aim has always been for there to be a recommitment to the values that made us who we are today. This has been Mind Community, featuring Haynesley Benn and his childhood communities. I'm Sherwood McCaskey. Be good to yourself and look out for the interests of your neighbours.